Hello, hello, hello. I have my unicorns here, and I want to talk a little bit more about the so-called SelSaBates. What are SelSaBates? It sounds like salsa, right? But it's not. No. Selsa, not salsa. SelSaBates. And they're not babes. They're not salsa babes. They're also not SelSaBates. They're SelSaBates, like Norman Bates, you know? Remember that film? Okay, what does it stand for? It stands for self-sabotaged celibates. That's what it stands for. Okay. And the world is full of those. Okay. Most males, there may be some females too, but this applies to almost all men. And I've seen their self-sabotage in action in chat rooms, on Facebook, and on the Rollo Tomasi chat room also. I haven't been on that lately. It's getting a little bit boring. It's always the same thing. I get the picture now. Okay, so I don't need to go on it anymore to learn any more about social psychology in this particular narrow field of self-sabotaged celibacy. Okay. So why do I call it self-sabotage? I call it that because they themselves brought it on to themselves. I talked about this yesterday in length in my video. I wanted to add some more thoughts to this subject because I think it's very important, you know. And I'm going to give you some advice also. Most people are not going to take my advice. They're too proud. But see, there's more self-sabotage right there. Pride is self-sabotage. That's what that is. Pride and shame to perpetuate those kind of feelings, you know. Feel ashamed. And out of the shame, you need to develop a counter action. It's a coping mechanism with shame, to cope with shame, and you develop pride. So it's a counterbalance of the ego, of the mind. You feel ashamed, you don't want to look at the shame at all, right? You run from that shame. You run as fast as you can. That's more self-sabotage. If you didn't run away from the shame, then you could face it full force. You could look it right in the eyes and say, I see you. So what am I so ashamed about? Where does the shame come from also? Where is this coming from? It's obviously coming from way, way in the past, from your childhood trauma. You know, you have been shamed by society, you have been shamed by your fathers. They were shamed by their fathers, they just perpetuated. You know, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. I'm so glad Paul didn't have a child, because he would have perpetuated it, even though he hated it, what his dad did to him and all of this. Because he's not facing it. He's not facing that shame and that hurt. So even though he's a compassionate person, he would in some way perpetuate it. He would probably perpetuate it in a psychological way. That's what my parents are very compassionate people. But because they haven't dealt with their mental illness, with their shame and pride and and hurt from childhood. They perpetuated it with us kids, with my brother and me, and I got the most beating, psychological beating from everyone. So I was easy with that, I was the easy target. The girl is always the easier target than the boy. That's the case with all humans. Okay? It's very sad. It's infinitely sad. But obviously my brother suffered from all of this too. And my brother also suffered from what he has seen and witnessed. And I know he's witnessed things that he himself had to actually go into amnesia with. He has witnessed stuff that was happening to me. And I know this because when we were watching old films about our Christmas afternoons in Germany, and he saw how I was dressed, how my mother dressed me up in that 70s fashion with those plaid mini skirts and obviously these thick yellow knitted pantaloons, these stocking pantaloons underneath. And sometimes platform shoes, platform boots. So it's nice fashion, but you don't want to put a child into that. Really seriously. You gotta have your head really in the sand, which my mother had, to put a child in those kind of clothes. Man, that's awful. That's almost as bad as John Benet Ramsey. And I looked like her. Like almost identical. Almost identical. I had dark brown hair. I have dark brown eyes. She had blue eyes and she had blonde hair. They also bleached it even blonder. So my mother would never bleach my hair. That's so... I should look down on something like this. But then she falls into the same trap anyway, in a roundabout way, She'll put me into a plaid miniskirt at age 7. It's not a good idea. Well, this is incredible stupidity, is this, all of that. But, yeah, she didn't put makeup on me or anything, but I looked exactly like that John Benet Ramsey at that age. Exactly. I'm surprised I'm still alive. Really, that's amazing. But the trauma is severe. I got all kinds of memories popping up in bits and pieces. It comes in dreams, rape dreams, bathroom rape dreams, and stuff like that. And I painted those kind of things when I was a child. I painted that. I think when I was 8, I painted the bathroom scene. My little brother was there, and my grandfather, in form of this towering large prey bird, like vulture, I call it, a vulture towering over us children. And the Great Dane is in that painting as well. And we're all in my grandfather's bathroom, and we all looked innocent and terrified, and we didn't know what was going on. And this big vulture ghost standing above us with green eyes, like neon, like I used a neon green for the eyes, and then the pupil was a vertical slit looking down on us with this sinister look, with this look of I got you, you know, you're mine. I can do with you whatever I want to do. Extremely traumatic, you know, this reappeared in dreams throughout my life. It's horror. But I'm facing it, I'm looking at it. I'm not gonna run away from it. I have act outs where, you know, wanting to be boss is a natural reaction that comes out of something like this, out of pain like that. Absolute horror of skirts my whole life. Absolute, like, not for me. I'm wearing pants. I wear an armor. When I was in LA, I was particularly afraid because from the movies that I've seen that were playing in LA, and I thought, oh, me going to LA, that's terrifying. But I wanted to do primal therapy, so that's why I went. Otherwise, I would have never ever come to the United States, and particularly not to LA. That would be the last place I would go to. You know, dirty streets and gangs and danger and all of that. But I got one advantage. I'm 5'9" and very big build. So, and then I put on the German walk. My friend Elsa from France has made fun of me for that. She would imitate me and walk down the street like I'm playing Nicky now. Plump, 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 plump. Nobody can hurt me. That's how I would be walking. And I did a lot of walking. And I walked like this deliberately because I wanted everyone to know that I'm tough and that nobody can hurt me. And I dressed like a police officer. So that's how I dressed. Had my fanny pack in front of me. There was an extra buffer to keep everyone away from me. Black leather jacket, motorcycle kind of outfit, standing tall, chin up, walking, buff, and with power. I got power. No one can hurt me. And no one did. You know, some homeless people would say to me, Jesus loves you. But back then, I got mad at them for saying that. I got mad at them. Wow, I got mad. That made me so mad. Today, I just laughed that off. And that story was the fundamentalist lady. After I flew over a door with my bicycle, all bruised up, fundamentalist lady goes, you need to repent to Jesus. I was like, what the fuck? I took my bicycle and dragged myself away from there as fast as I could. Oh my goodness. I knew LA was definitely a melting pot, and some people were crazy in LA, not just in LA, the whole world. They're crazy in Germany too, you better believe it. But they hide it a little bit better. Not the immigrants though. The immigrants that are coming in from the Muslim communities. They don't hide. No. They rape little girls. They torture animals. It's reality. I'm just pointing this out. If that sounds politically incorrect, then the truth is politically incorrect, actually. That's what it is. I'm doing a belly dancing here. This is Frank and me. Our bellies, they would stick a little bit like this. Let's do a Frank Mickey belly dance. And a lot of burping. Or a lot of bubble gum blowing. I thought this is the perfect bubble gum situation here. So I see all of this, I see my videos are completely free flowing art. That's what they are. It's like free flow association. I'm just talking about the different things that come up, and anything that I can think of that I wanted to share with the public that I think is important. And so the SelSaBate community is what I've been observing, and I see unbelievable self-sabotage in this. And obviously these people, they don't know what they're doing. They're completely tapping in the dark with their own minds and with their own needs, and it's incredible. When I asked them, what do you there was this guy yesterday who was constantly harping at me, constantly insulting me and wanting something. I said, what do you want? What do you want from me? And then he didn't say anything. He posted himself, but without saying anything, like several times. I mean, what's the point in even posting if you're not posting anything? You're posting silence, like you post your photo, whatever, your channel photo, and then you don't say anything, or you put ... You don't know, and then you say, yeah, in abbreviation, I don't know. You don't know what you want. You don't know. You want to insult me. That's what you want to do. But why? What's the point? What's the point? What is supposed to come out of that? What comes out of it is that I block you. That's what comes out of it. Is that what you wanted? Is that do you want to get blocked? It's self-sabotage. More self-sabotage. Okay? Then you get blocked. I see it like over and over and over. They constantly insult me. Constantly. Call me man and ugly and old. Call me grandma. They call me tranny. They call me anything that they know that really, really hurts us women. That's what they call me. Well, and it does hurt us. It does. It's painful. It's like someone cutting you in the arm. What's the point? I mean, really, why are you doing this? Why do you enjoy hurting women? What's the point in it? Some men said they find that sexy. They think that's sexy talk. To really insult women, beat them up with words. I think that's sexy. I mean, really, find out why you have the need to do this. You need to find out why you have the need to do this, because that may be only normal because the majority of men do this. That doesn't mean it is well or healthy or acceptable or good for you at all. Normal in the sense of normal neurotic and badly neurotic. That's what normal kind of is nowadays. The normal behavior of men, that's also where the word hitting on someone comes from. I mean, it's been going on for thousands of years, I think, this type of immaturity, where men, they even had traditions like this in Europe in the Middle Ages, where the men would, but not in the aristocratic circles. That was only in the farmer and worker circles. The people that didn't have any education, that the people that just were drilled with religion and with some kind of shit traditions and stuff like this, and they would never question it, as they don't do it today. So, and the men, they would go up to the girls, and they would, if they like a girl, they ought hit her real hard. I saw it one time. It was a movie made about it, and I was sitting there like, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. Oh man, I don't even know what to say it was. But that's where that comes from. So they like a woman, then they want to inflict pain on her. So I talked about this before. What I think is the reason, and this neurosis obviously is very old, thousands of years old. I don't even know when it started, but I think it kind of escalated. In some demographics, definitely escalated. Not in the education, in the educated circles. It vanished there. So, but in the uneducated circles, it seems to get worse. In the Muslim communities, it's like completely out of control. This kind of stuff. So where does it come from? It comes from childhood pain, childhood trauma. Yeah. They want to have the woman under them. And that guy Gadwin explained it even. I thought it was quite courageous of you to come out to the open with this kind of, with your mental reasoning that you have. Although I know that you think this is all completely legitimate, what you're saying. But I still think it's courageous of you to actually admit it to the public. Because most men, they'll kind of conceal that too, those intentions. They'll say whatever people want to hear. So at least that guy Gadwin admitted that he beats people down psychologically, and once they're completely beaten down, particularly women, obviously, then he can rebuild them in his own fantasies, in his own, for his own needs. The woman is then obedient to him and mentally so broken down that he can do anything he wants to with her, and he thinks this is good. He thinks that's the way it goes, right? Huh? He doesn't see the woman as another living being with equal rights for happiness and empowerment. Empowerment. Oh. No, he doesn't want the woman empowered. He wants the woman to be his servant. Okay. I'm sure he's a Muslim. Pretty sure. But if he isn't a Muslim, he has the same mindset. There's a lot of Christians like this too, and others. So they're even Buddhists that are like this. That's a real contradiction. But I've seen it all, or I see all of this on the internet. People they will be bragging about being a Buddhist, and then secretly they're joining sadomaso bondage groups and stuff like this. It's like, did you not hear what Gautama Buddha told you, or I don't know, I'm a little confused about all of this. Whatever. And the Christians, they'll take the Old Testament and run off with it and say, that's what Jesus taught. No, that's not what Jesus taught. The Old Testament, no. Jesus did not say eye for an eye. Never did. Yeah. He said, love your enemy. Love everyone. That's the Buddha method. He learned that from Buddhist monks. Okay? That's why he even became so known in the Middle East. Became known after he had come back from his pilgrimage to India, studying under Buddhist monks the message of Gautama Buddha. That's what I believe happened. And Dolores Cannon has books on this, and I saw documentary films, and that makes a lot of sense to me. That's where this comes from, love your enemy. That comes from Buddhism. In the Middle East, that was a novelty. Particularly at that time, 2,000 years ago. That was a real novelty. That was like completely, almost felt like contradictory. It felt like an oxymoron. So they thought this was freakish for him to say that. But it was so flashy for that time that people started to listen to him. They thought it was interesting. Maybe something inside of them, maybe the inner child said, yeah, that sounds right. So you started to listen to him, and of course the Roman Empire and whatever these names were, Herodes, the king, they didn't want a guru to rise up in fame and take away their customers, so they assassinated him. I believe that he was assassinated. They didn't even have that torture method on the cross at that time, but then again, nobody really knows. Maybe that's where this whole thing was the cross started. Who knows what happened? But apparently he had been tortured several times and survived it and lived on. He didn't hold grudges. He tried to help. He tried to empower women. He and Mary Magdalene were a couple. They had children together. Leonardo da Vinci kind of hinted at that in his painting of the Last Supper. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. They didn't get officially married. They didn't need to bother with that, because they were like way ahead of their time. Marriage should be abolished, and life insurance too should be abolished. Many women died because of that, because of marriage and life insurance. They were murdered by greedy husbands. They reach a certain age, they don't serve that purpose anymore. They get trashed, literally. That's the harsh reality of the human age. I think we should really take a good look at it now. Let's take a really good look at this. If we're not willing to take a good look at this, then things will perpetuate and get worse. It's up to you. This is your world. We can make this into a paradise and everyone will win. It will be a win-win situation, scenario. It'd be amazing. We can make this world into a paradise. But you have to help. You have to be willing to help with this. You have to stop watching horror movies. You have to stop putting poison into your brains. You have to stop putting poisonous substances into your body. You have to make that commitment. Okay? And then we can make the world a better place. Okay? You have to stop insulting women. Stop literally hitting on women. Stop hitting women physically and mentally. Yeah? Approach a woman with love and kindness. You'll see the difference. It'll be so obviously in your face, that difference. There'll be the difference between dating and rejection. If you're kind to a woman, she'll be kind to you. Okay? She might fall in love with you. You never know. The friend zone comes first. The sadhu bondage stuff, this Clint Eastwood, he just takes the woman. This is an outdated idea. Takes the woman and doesn't ask her first. The same with the penis photos on Facebook. Good advice for you. This is my advice for the SelSaBate community out there. Don't show penis. Don't do it. Don't show your naked bodies. And particularly, don't show these kind of photos unannounced. Like you're in a nice political conversation and you can't help it, and your finger is right on the trigger, and there you go, you are clicking on your penis photo and you send a penis photo because you're thinking through your testicles. You're not thinking through your brain mass. That's the problem. And then the woman goes, oh no, not another one of those. Let me block him. Bye. We don't want penis photos. I hope that makes a lot of sense. Particularly not in the very beginning of a conversation or contact. We think you're dumb if you do that. Don't do it. Don't sabotage yourself. And don't, in an actual person party, don't go up to a woman and just grab her, grope or grab or don't do it. Have some respect, man. Women think you're dumb if you do that. They think you're just a player. I mean, what do you want? Do you want a girlfriend? Do you want a one-night stand? Maybe that's the best that will come out of it, of grabbing her butt. One-night stand, and then she's had enough. It's like, no. She goes, no, I want a man who I can trust, who I can rely on, someone I can have long conversations with, someone I can cry on his shoulder, I can share my past with without being insulted, without him running away. Yeah, that's what we want. We want someone. We also want the friend. We want a real friend in our lover. This is the truth. I'm giving you the truth. So stop sabotaging yourselves, people. Stop doing it. And a lot of men are afraid of intimacy. They're afraid of something that could get deeper. And it has to do with childhood trauma. So work on that. Go into meditation. Sit with that trauma that comes up. Breathe through your abdomen. And accept this moment. Right now, this now moment. I'm sitting here on this love seat that I got from my papa dog. I have the electric blanket on. I'm looking out into the sunset out there over the ocean. I see glimpses of the ocean through the trees. I always prefer the trees over the ocean view because I love trees. I look into the sky, the blue God. This is now. The moment is now. Okay. I'm squishing these things here. It feels good, and the moment is now. Do it. Sit there, and the moment is now. Whatever you're doing right now, sit there, lean back, relax your shoulders, and don't type. Don't look anything up. Don't look at the beeping of your tablet or iPad, whatever, phone. I also recommend to turn these notifications off. So look it up yourself when you're ready to look it up. Don't be a total slave to those beeping sounds and all of that. That's something that I would never do. I could never enslave myself to something like this. I live my life. I live in the now. I have addictions too. I face these addictions. I sit with it. Because I know I really hate addictions. I don't want to be addicted to men. I don't want to be addicted to compliments. I don't want to be addicted to anything. Not even food. I don't want to be addicted to sex. Any substance. So, but sex is healthy and it's good for us. I wouldn't even call that an addiction. So the addiction part is, I think that's what happens to men, because the addiction part is looking up strangers on the internet, and then more and more and more strangers, and more 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 and more. That's a way of running away from yourself. That's a way of running away from intimacy. So as soon as one stranger is not a stranger anymore, then the pain bores itself up into consciousness from childhood. maybe fear of rejection, maybe fear of abandonment. What if you fall in love and then she abandons you? That would be even more painful once you have gotten to know her. So that too, but also what Dr. Arthur Janov said, that if we allow ourselves to love someone, if we allow ourselves to be loved by someone, then we're eliminating, we're dissolving that contrast. No, not the contrast. We are creating the contrast. My brain is often reversing things, so, like in words. That happens a lot. So we're creating a contrast between the past and the present. People run away by creating repetition, compulsion, and homeostasis. That's what he calls it. Okay, so homeostasis is when you level out the contrast, when you wash away the contrast in your mind, when you make your present life in the same way as the past was. That's what people do with bondage. It's they're making their present life, or watching horror movies. They're making their present life they create the same pain and the same terror environment, terror feelings, in order to drown out what happened in the past. But then you stay stuck in that same perpetuated misery. When you're loved, there's a contrast that's created. The love is the contrast, the antidote to what happened in the past. And then, through that antidote, through this love connection, you are able to actually see the past as the contrast to the now. I hope that makes sense. It kind of highlights the past trauma. When you get love, you suddenly see what happened in the past and how that's totally standing in contrast to the love that you are now getting. And they're afraid of that. They don't want that to happen. So it's an unconscious process of running away from the past trauma by repeating it and drowning it out so that you don't have to feel it. So if it's not repeated, if there's actual love happening, then that will bring up the past. It will tell you, it will highlight the past up into consciousness. And you suddenly see, oh, you were beaten by your father. You were not loved. You were not respected. As that new friend you have now is respecting you. Okay, so that's what I mean, And they're afraid of that. Bring all of this into your conscious awareness. Make this become visible. Make this whole entire thing more conscious. You do that in meditation. Meditation alone is self-love. When you do that, you allow yourself that space. I just saw 4444. That's the sign of the infinite cosmos, telling me and telling us that we're on the right track. This is the path forward. You watching this video you are on the right track right now. Okay. Go into meditation. Breathe. Be in that now moment. And don't run away from the past. Don't run away from that trauma that is very, very painful. I know it is. Don't run away from it. It is the past. It's not now. It's the past. It can't hurt you anymore. Okay? But breathe through it. Feel it. Look it in the eye and say, okay, I see what happened. Okay, here's a glimpse. There's a glimpse of it. I see, so something happened. Okay, allow it. Breathe with it. Don't judge it. Don't judge anyone. Don't even judge the perpetrator. They didn't know what they were doing. They're acting out of their own pain. Okay. You are alive. You've made it. You made it through this. You have infinite power in you. You don't even know it. I'm alive. I have power. I made it through this. Alive. And well. Okay? Know that you have a blue God bubble sphere around you that protects you. Begin to seek people who you found boring in the past. Date the homely girl. Date the homely boy. Get to know them. Forget about that, the wild sex for a moment. That can come up later with the homely person. You better believe it. They all have a giant in them. They may not show it on the surface. Get to know them. Friend zone, it's okay. Be friend zone, it's okay. Become friends, become buddies, get to know the person. Whether the romance comes out of it or not, you have a friend suddenly, right? Friend. It could be anybody. It could be a dog. You have a friend. Get to know that person. Love that living being. Okay. Love that living being. You are also a dog. You're also an ape. You are like every living being. Yeah. Same consciousness elements, the same needs, particularly among us mammals. We're exactly the same. Every being with a central nervous system is like you, in need of love, respect, friendship, companionship. Hang out with them. That's what got me through these 10 years of voluntary celibacy. Pure friendship. I love Paul as my best friend. He's my best human friend. When we had a dog, when we had Kenny, when we had the papa dog, my mother instinct was fulfilled. I talked about this yesterday. So, without the dog, I'm a mother who lost her baby. Then my body goes into high gear. Something that I can't change. It is what it has. It's happening. Okay. And it's a little bit of a tug of war between my rational mind and my body. I always have to put a leash on this situation. I have to harness my body a little bit, to say, wait, easy, easy. You've been beaten, you've been raped. Take it easy. Careful. So Yeah, and I recommend to other people to be careful too. Most people are completely out of control and completely crazy and insane. There are some real insane people in the world. Sadistic. It's out of their own unconsciousness, their own pain. That's why it is so important now more than ever that you go into your own therapy process. Use my videos, use Teal Swan, Thich Nhat Hanh, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Tony Robbins. Use these amazing people to get into your own mind. And stop acting it out on other people. Stop objectifying other people. Particularly men do it with women. I mean, that's so symptomatic. I mean, you do it, of course your body does it. You can't really stop it or anything. But bring your rational mind into it as well. There's another living being. Okay? She's not a witch, she's not your object, she's not your sock account, she's not your slave, okay? Servant. No, we have feelings too. Okay? We go through our insecurities. We have insecurities just like you have. We look in the mirror, we go like, is this gonna work? Oh, we're shy, we feel awkward. We just want to run. Same as you. We feel like throwing up sometimes too. Get closer to someone. It's real scary, all of this. But the meditation process will guide us through that now moment. Sit with it. That's your opportunity to do it. Sit with it. With whatever comes. Jealousy. Jealousy is a real libido depressor for all of us. It really is. I bring up Elon Musk. It's a libido depressor for men. Okay. You bring up Scarlett Johansson, and we go in front of the mirror and we go, I need to go under the knife. No, you don't. You need to love yourself the way you are. Okay? You are perfect the way you are. Perfect. You are the divine feminine. Love yourself the way you are, baby. Okay, I love you. Okay, I love all of you. Okay, so you guys take care. Bye bye.